Hello, welcome to the DEvangelicals on the line. Hi, I am Sara from Leaving Faith, and co-hosting with me is Dalton, the Bible guy. Hi, Dalton.
Hey, everybody.
Looking very handsome as usual. Welcome. So it is June 27th, and we would love for you all to call in. We are talking about we can talk about deconstruction from evangelical Christianity. We can discuss Christianity a little more in general. We can talk specifically about the Bible. And we would love to call into debate. Our phone number is on the screen that you can see, but I'm happy to read it for you. 720-619-2288. So please do call in. We would be very happy to chat. And also, just a reminder, as you all are here in the chat, we will read super chats of $5 or more at the end. So that's also a really nice way to support the show. So yeah, hey, how's it going, Dalton?
Oh man, I am so excited to be here. It's been a really good day. And I'm ready for whatever the rest of the week has to for us.
Nice. We were just chatting earlier before this started about the metaphorical flipping of tables. And I was saying that one of the things I made a video about this week was the proliferation of Christian energy drinks. Um, oh, I think we have a caller. Okay, so this is to be
Wow,
continued with Christian energy drinks.
crazy.
Um,
That's fast.
yeah, I know. Amazing.
I think they're still screening.
Oh, are they? Oh, what does it look like when?
Yeah, well, it'll be yellow.
Oh, it'll be yellow. Oh, you would think it would be green.
You would think.
Okay, so I'll tell you about this proliferation of Christian energy drinks. I found at least five different brands, three of which claimed to be the first Christian energy drink. And they are like the post I made was I don't understand why Christians aren't more upset about it because they are using the images of Jesus, they're using Bible verses, they're even using like puns about their faith to just nakedly sell stuff. And I can't understand why this is such a phenomena.
Yeah, it is, man. It is insane how if Jesus were around today, he would definitely be very, very upset with the way the church is run today. Even I,
Yeah.
even I realized this when I was a Christian because, like, I remember high school seeing all these pastors selling stuff on TV. Like,
Hmm.
oh, healing water. I can get you this healing water, and if you buy for this amount, or pray for. I mean, pay, and we'll make sure to get your prayers in.
Right.
What insane,
Hmm.
absolute insanity.
It is. And like I don't, I don't know why it's not more offensive to Christians, like they're just using your religion to make money. I don't know. I remember being a kid and I don't know if you ever went into these stores, but like a Lifeway Christian store and they would have things like testaments. They were mints.
Yes. They also had it was just like the easiest things to sell Christians, like little rocks that had Bible verses painted on them. Like, man, literally buying rocks. Guys, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, you don't need to buy a rock. It's okay. There's a bunch outside.
You can write your own Bible verses on it, damn it.
Yep. I don't
What was
I
the name
agree.
of some of these energy drinks?
Okay, let me think. One was Forgiven, but it was just like the number 4 and then like GVN. Uh, it really looked like Four Loco or something. It was forgiven.
Everything Christians do is derivative. I'm telling you.
Oh man. One was agape. Um,
Wow, I love that.
let's see. What else? There was one that was weird. It was like air, like HEIR, like the air lion, which I thought was a really weird name.
Is it meant to be like pulling on how he is the heir to the throne of David?
Yeah, and like the Lion of
Line
Judah,
of
I guess,
Judah.
or yeah. I don't know. It was very
Yeah.
strange. Yeah, it was that was the weird one.
Thousands of years ago, the Israelites like, you know that story Gilgamesh? I think we can do it better. And it's nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. They're just taking other products and turning them into their own.
Uh, indeed.
Oh, Lion King, that would be what the New Testament says Jesus is the Lion King.
Oh,
It's
no.
almost kind of when I was a Christian, I almost thought it was kind of almost idolatrous how much Christians loved lion imagery, like
Mm.
tons of paintings and statues and all kinds of stuff of lions. Um, to an
I blame C.S. Lewis for that.
That is true. Listen, and if listen, if Jesus had the voice of Liam Neeson, I might still be a Christian. I don't know. Jesus is like, I will find you
Oh, God.
and I will kill you. I mean, I will save you. Yeah.
Uh, I think the lion image is so appealing to Christians because it's still power. You know what I mean? Like it's I'm in charge, I'm in control, I'm the king of the jungle and um it's you don't have to be it's not weak or self-sacrificing. Like I think they still like that idea of power.
There's a lot of imagery on Facebook of like it's like a kitten that looks into the mirror and they see a lion and goes, how the world sees us versus how Jesus sees us. How the devil versus how the devil sees us. And it's always something cringe like that.
Uh,
How do I know? Because I used to post that shit on Facebook when I was a kid.
oh no.
Yeah. No, I think there was a trend when I was in high school where kids would have their first and their last name, but in between it they would have like a weird like a sentence as in the middle of their name. And mine was Dalton loves Jesus and then insert my last name. It's so cringe.
Oh
Um
no. See, I'm
yeah.
old and we had AOL Instant Messenger and you would put an away message up and that's where you would put like a Bible verse and like a sort of cryptic dramatic quote away as your away message. And that's where we would do a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I never got into that. I was on the I was out there at the tail end of MySpace. I think I made a MySpace when I was in the fifth grade. Never actually got around to using it.
Fifth
But yeah,
grade.
my Facebook was just full of Bible quotes and I thought I was going to be some sort of online preacher one day. If only 16-year-old Dalton could have seen where I'm at now.
Uh,
Ooh, this looks like it's going to be a really interesting call.
yeah, I'm like, wait, is that the right color? No, it didn't. Yeah, I am very grateful that 16-year-old Sarah did not have social media. I would have done so many cringy things, for sure.
No, I'm just glad that my first Facebook doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, I just started from scratch, which was a really good move on my end.
That is good.
Um, but now, then again, I do still have photos on my Facebook of me back when I was Catholic. And I've even got one. Let's see if I can find it. This is gonna people are gonna love this. I'm sure. I got a picture of me back when I was an altar server. So I wore the gown and everything. Um,
Wow.
yeah, let me see if I can find that. Since I'm just gonna freely embarrass myself right now.
We love it. Yay!
And then we have 2 calls waiting when you are done doing that.
Oh,
Oh
do
yeah,
they
just
not
we'll
have?
just go ahead
I'm
and
just
take the
saying they
calls.
got done. They got
I'll
done screening finally.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that then.
Should I either one? Doesn't matter. I
Yeah,
guess this
yeah.
person was here sooner. Um, Hello, Felix. Can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear you. You're kind of quiet though. But I can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes. Welcome. What can we do for you?
Clear and loud?
You're still kind of quiet, but I can just kind of turn my own stuff up a little bit. So go ahead.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Do you think, before we start, do you think patience requires God or not?
Patience? Like the
To
virtue of
have
patience?
patience? Yes.
I do not think that requires God. No.
I've been
Why
told by a
not?
few of my call. Well, I've been told as an atheist, I've been told that I have tremendous patience, and I don't have God or I don't believe in God.
So who has more patience, a believer in God or an atheist?
It depends. People are different. I'm sure some believers are very patient and some believers are not. And some atheists are very patient and some atheists are not.
So you don't think we can test that?
Test, you mean like line up all the Christians and measure their patience and then line up all the atheists and measure their patience and run a t-test to see which is higher?
Sure, test, but more than that, can we do it now here?
No, we're not equipped to do that. We would need a larger sample size.
Yes, we can. I tell you how.
Okay.
You two and me. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Are you atheists both?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see by the end who is more patient, okay?
Okay,
Okie
so just
dokie.
um measuring
That's
two
all.
individual people is not a representative sample. So the only thing you could conclude is if you have more patience than we do, not if Christians have more patience than atheists.
You are right. You are right. You're correct. But, can I say something?
I think you have been.
But it's something at least. Don't you agree?
What is something at least?
That we are people and that we can have patience or not.
Yes, human beings are capable of displaying patience.
Okay, so we'll see by the end of the show or the call.
Did you call to talk about the Bible?
I talked to do you believe in God?
No, we both said we were atheists.
Okay, so I think God is obvious. You don't think
Okay.
it's obvious?
I do not.
No.
No.
You know what obvious means?
Yes.
It is very apparent and doesn't require a lot of like looking into to see that it is true.
It doesn't
I don't.
require much explaining.
Yeah, the problem is that God requires a lot of explaining. That's why Christians for 2,000 years have engaged in like rigorous apologetics in order to try to and explain God. There are whole tomes written trying to explain the nature of God because it's not super obvious.
So God is obvious in that you need much explanation or no explanation.
Well, if it needs much
Sorry, go ahead.
if it needs much explanation, then it's not obvious. And I would say that God is, at least to me and Sarah, not very obvious that God exists.
So, what is obvious? Much explanation or no explanation? What does obvious mean? Much or no explanation?
Can you just tell us why you think God is obvious?
So you don't know what I ask you?
We answered your question and then you just repeated the question again.
Okay, do you think something self-evident is obvious?
Something that is self-evident would be obvious, yes.
Sadly,
Is it
God isn't
very
self-evident.
obvious, most obvious?
Is what? I'm sorry?
Is it the most obvious when it's self-evident?
All right, Felix, it feels like we're just kind of going in a circle here. You haven't
I can
really
see now why Felix wanted to ask us about patience because he knew what he was about to do. Are you trying to test us right now? Is that what this is, Felix?
No. I'm just asking. I'm having a conversation. I don't have any malice
I think
or anything.
you know what the word obvious means. We know what the word obvious means, and me and Sarah would say that God is not obvious. But why do you think that God is obvious?
Because it's obvious. It's self-evident. You know what self-evident is?
Yep, we sure do. We just told you we did.
But we don't think it's self-evident. We don't think God is self-evident because I don't see God anywhere.
Okay, so something obvious sometimes needs explanation. Do you agree?
No.
I mean, it depends on how dense the person is. But I don't think I'm particularly dense.
Okay, do you know the principle, part-whole principle?
The what principle?
Part-whole, PRRTWHOE.
Yeah.
I still don't understand.
I think Felix, this is gonna I think we're gonna have to move on. I don't think that this is getting us anywhere. I'm sorry?
You want me to repeat it?
I can't. We're losing you a little bit. I can't understand what you're saying, Felix.
You want me to repeat it?
You haven't actually talked about God at all, so we're not really going anywhere. So I thank you very much for calling in, but we're going to have to move on to another caller. So thank you so much, Felix, and we will maybe talk to you again soon.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
I think we were very patient.
He did test our patience. He was correct.
I'll let everyone else in the comment section decide whether or not we were patient.
Okay, so we have another caller. This is Sloan, a theist from Kentucky. Let's get Sloan on the line. Sloan, hello, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Great. Well, what can we do for you?
I guess I would like to defend the Bible and its reliability, I guess.
Okay.
If that's how you say the word.
Yeah. So why do you think the Bible is reliable?
For me personally, I think it's reliable because I have said a prayer, at least one prayer that I can think of off the top of my head. And the prayer was answered and I've seen a sign follow with the prayers that I've prayed, but it had led me to the Bible.
So,
And when it did, I believe it did anyway. I'll say that.
okay, so you're saying, I mean, I think you're maybe giving a reason why you think the existence of your God would be reliable. I'm not sure how an answered prayer makes the Bible reliable.
Yeah, it could just very well be hypothetically. I don't believe this, but that your God is real. He does answer prayers, but the Bible would still be unreliable if it's tells us things that aren't true.
You might be right. You might be right about that. I mean, it could be that he led me to the Bible by what he did. Like, okay, here's the thing. I have been praying for a while, and I used to pray for signs a lot, and I felt like God would show me signs. So I was standing in a parking lot after we went to a restaurant, and I had two other guys with me. I didn't mention this to them, but this was right after I went to, what do you call it, a jail ministry thing.
Okay.
And I talked to some guys in the jail, and I prayed for them and everything. And then, like I said, we went to a restaurant. And then after we went to the restaurant, we were in the parking lot. And I saw on a license plate, it said something that looked like the word Jacob. And I thought, I need to read something about Jacob. And I was like, is there a book of Jacob or something? Like, what is Jacob? So I used the phone, and I looked it up about Jacob, and it said something about Genesis. So I was like, well, I know what who Jacob is in the Bible, so let me go back and read that. Because I'd read it before, but it just never really had any impact in my life at the time, I felt. Well, anyway, I read about that, and then that stuck out to me, the story about Jacob did, after I read about Joseph first, though. I read about Joseph, and it had something in it about the king's dream that stood out to me. And it was about the number 28. The number 28 had significant meaning to me and made me feel like God was talking to me through the Bible. I don't know for sure if that means the Bible's reliable, but I could go into more depth, but I'll let you respond.
There's probably something. Okay, you can probably speak a bit about this, Sarah. That human beings are really good at finding patterns, even when there aren't really any patterns.
Yeah, so what you're describing is you looked at the world and your brain saw something that caught your attention. Then you are already familiar with the Bible. So if you see this word Jacob, it automatically makes you think about the Bible. And it sounds like the thing that caught your attention wasn't even the story of Jacob. It was more like you just sort of kept reading until something else caught your attention. And all of that is like a confirmation bias. So if you go your whole day looking for signs, and the signs are going to be just little things that are in your life, you're going to see them. Our brains are wired to see patterns because we find it helpful and comforting to see patterns in things. So I don't find that to be evidence or to be very convincing evidence.
Yeah, and I would like to add that there are tons of people all over the world who pray to God, and they will ask God things like, my child is starving, help me feed my child, and then nothing ever happens, and the child ends up dying of starvation, and that happens more often than not. Prayers are not being answered than they are being answered. It seems like you're seeing patterns. You are getting lucky that there are things that you prayed about that you seem to think have come to pass. But like, as an ex-Christian, I prayed a lot for God to make himself known to me, and he never did.
I'm here. Is that my cue to talk or no?
Yes, it sure is. Go for it.
Okay. Okay. All of that makes perfect sense that we're pattern seeking, and because that is definitely what I've done. I've seeked patterns and asked for signs and asked for God to reveal Himself. And it just
Have you read
it
the
really seems
whole
like
Bible?
it.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Go ahead and finish.
No, I've not read the whole Bible. I've read a little bit of the Old Testament, like the first maybe 6 or 7 books, and then the whole New Testament.
Okay.
And then I've read a little bit of these 2 books I got over here somewhere. What is the other book called? The Book of Enoch and I got a Book of Mormon that I've been talking to 2 Mormons that just showed up. But like I'm just trying to figure out what if there is a God, what's He trying to show me, and if it's the Bible God, is there more or not? Like I don't know, and I'm doing my best. But
well, certainly if you before you devote your life to any particular religion, I think it does make sense to have read the entire text before you dive in. It's uncommon, but frequently Christians are Christians first and then they read the Bible second. But I do think it would be worth your time to know what all is in this book before you decide one way or the other. I know it's a long book, but I do think that if it would be worth your time to read the whole thing first, so you know what it is you're signing up for.
yeah, that's right. That's true. But I'll put it like this: if this, I know it's probably going to be one of those pattern-seeking things, but I had a dream when I was an atheist. I just made a call the other day to one of the shows that was on this channel, I believe it was. But I didn't talk about this. I'll go more in depth about that in a minute. But anyway, I had a dream when I was an atheist, and that dream was about a flood. And then after the flood in the dream, I saw myself standing in some kind of school. It looked like a school building. And then there was actually a flood here where I live at. And then after that flood, I actually found myself standing in a school building. And I didn't think about that right there until way after it happened or whatever. And I started thinking about it. I've also had other things happen, like it's just the pattern seeking thing that I do see, like certain pattern things, but it has me, like, it's been happening a lot. Like I can pray something and then something instantly happens that it feels like my prayer has been answered. That's just the truth. Like I can pray something and most of the time it happens instantly. I don't know how it's happening. I just believe that it's God. That's what I believe. But
can we put that to the test right now?
I'm willing to pray.
All right.
I'm definitely willing to pray.
As you can see, I need the use of glasses. My vision is very, very poor. If you would you say a quick prayer and for my sight to be restored?
Okay. My Father God, I'm a sinner, and I'm here on your behalf. Whoever this guy is on the side of this phone, other side of this phone right here, we're all sinners and we all need you. I pray right now, in your name, by your power, by the stripes that you took on that cross, that you show us who you are in any way that you can. But right now, I pray right now that you show this man that you're real by whatever he's wanting you to do with making his eyes better or helping him to see. God, if it's your will that he would not be able to see at all, whatever your will is, that would open his mind up, that would open his heart up. And if I'm wrong, my Creator, God, show me. Don't abandon me. I'm just someone that needs you.
Did you just also pray for him to maybe take Dalton's sight away completely?
I feel like you made it to where sounds like your prayer included both the possibility of me having my eyes healed, but also not having my eyes healed. So no matter what, it sounds like prayer gets answered.
As long as God's will is done, that's all I'm asking. As long as if he's real, he opens up your mind and your heart. That's all I ask.
Why didn't we pray for something that, like, why didn't you include in your prayer that you couldn't get an out?
Say that again, though.
Like you included in your, you notice how you included in your prayer, the idea that I might possibly not have my eyes healed. So that way, even if the prayer fails, it'll feel like a success for you.
I mean, I just want something to happen that I don't know. Like, okay, think about it like this. My cat just died. One of my cats died. We had it, or no, it was a dog. Sorry. I have 6 cats, believe it or not, and I had 3 dogs at the time. One of my dogs, I had it for 10 days, and it died. It apparently had worms, and we didn't know it had worms when we first got it, and we got busy and couldn't take it to the vet. And somebody told us that they just took it right before the day that we got it, or the day before we got it, or something like that, took it to get it shots. It died. I prayed and prayed and prayed for that dog to live. If that dog had lived, maybe I would have just kept living as I was living and saying, well, God is real, and I have no reason to change anything.
Okay, wait. Yeah, this is quite a tangent here. So the point is, can you use answered prayers as evidence? And so we're trying to determine if you actually can use answered prayers to determine if your God is really here. And so the reason that Dalton set up the experiment the way he did was that it was kind of a clear yes or no. So if God always answers prayers, then Dalton suddenly wouldn't need glasses anymore. And it would be, again, a yes or a no, like God answered or God didn't. If the only way you feel that God is answering your prayers is just through these little coincidences, then that really isn't evidence. And I would actually be interested in, have you ever tried praying to other gods and seeing what happens? Like, I wonder if you'll actually get the same results if you pray to other gods. And so the point is that I understand that this might bring comfort to you and meaning to you. It's just that you aren't really able to demonstrate any reliability, that this is not something that is reliable or measurable or dependable.
Okay. I kind of would have agreed with you because I used to be, I don't even want to say an atheist because I don't know for sure if that would be, or is that what does an atheist believe?
It just is a word for someone who doesn't believe in any gods.
Okay, yeah, that was me.
Okay.
I was an atheist. Yeah, I didn't believe in anything at all. I thought either any kind of God or whatever. I thought whatever it is, either didn't care or didn't love me or whatever, or maybe it was me or maybe it was something else. Who knew, So, and now, like, since all these things have been happening, it's got me convinced that something's going on because it's completely different than it was, or it feels completely different. Like, I prayed before and nothing would happen, or it didn't feel like anything was happening. It just felt like to me that life was just normal. Like it was me, and then other people and then nothing. But then
So why do you think
for
it's the
some reason now
Christian God that is answering your prayers? There are lots of potential gods. Why do you think it's the Christian God?
Yeah, like imagine a
I've prayed
scenario
and
where there's a God out there who he doesn't care who it is you're praying to, so long as your heart is like open, he answers your prayers. Even if you pray to Vishnu or Yahweh or Jesus or anyone, he answers your prayers. How did you come to the conclusion it had to be this specific God?
a bunch of different coincidences and stuff, but one in particular that really has my um, thoughts thinking that it's God or whatever. And like I prayed for one time. I prayed when I was a little boy. That this is when I was real little, before I even too much knew anything about God at all. But I was being taught about the Bible God. Um, I said in the name of Jesus, and my sister stopped choking on some kind of chip or something. Some kind of chip was stuck in her throat or something, and she coughed it up like it wasn't even there. And then recently, as an
But
adult, my little
how do
girl.
you know? How do you know that if you hadn't prayed in the name of Jesus, that she would have not still coughed it up? Because I've eaten a Dorito the wrong way before, and I've choked on a Dorito, and then I coughed it up, and I didn't pray at all. How do you know that if you hadn't have said the prayer, that she wouldn't have still just coughed up the chip?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I used to think that too. Like, I still like agree with like your logic of it. Like, I didn't prove anything just by praying to Jesus, you know. But then it happened again, and that had me thinking, well, maybe, you know. But then, like that's just two of the examples right there. But then, like I said, the
So,
dream that happened, and then all the other
so
little
if someone,
coincidences, like me praying about things, and like it's just everything that I said. Like, really, I'm actually
so,
convinced, like, that there
so
could
if
be a
someone has
God,
the
and it could be the
opposite,
Bible God.
so if someone has the opposite experience where every time they pray, it always never gets answered, would that also be evidence that there is no God?
I don't believe so.
Why not?
Let me think about it. If someone prayed and the prayer didn't get answered, um, there could
And it
be
never gets answered. No
multiple
prayers
reasons.
ever get answered.
Yeah, I've prayed a lot.
It could
I
be
when I was a Christian, never once had a prayer answered.
it could be not believing with full truth or something, or not having enough
I
faith
bel-
or so much.
I
I'm just going
I
up based off what I've learned or
I
whatever.
I super duper believed in God fully. Never had prayers answered.
But you know for sure that you were talking to him,
Yeah, I was talking to
like
Jesus
you know for sure it was,
specifically. Or at least I believed
and
so
you know for
because
sure that.
I don't think Jesus can hear prayers because I think he's dead. But at the time, I genuinely believed in Jesus and I genuinely was attempting to talk to him and no prayer answered.
But did you know that you were talking to him though?
I
Yes, he said
believed
yes.
it. Yes.
I mean, yeah, you believe that
Like
you were
I would
talking like
like I
genuinely in
the
your
per
heart.
like wait, like I called out to Jesus specifically. Did he like miss my call or did
I
the
don't know.
prayer get
I'm
tangled
not
up
God. I don't know.
somewhere?
I'm not God. I'm just telling you, like, I believe that he's answering my prayers. I don't know specifically why everything. Like, I don't have the answer to everything. I just have him as my answer for everything that he's done for me,
See, Sloan, it
and
seems to me
possibly that he could.
it seems it seems to me what it sounds like is that you got very lucky that you prayed for things and they came to pass. Um Most people aren't as lucky. Most Christians don't get their answers prayed. In fact, when we see prayer happen, more often than not, prayers don't get answered. And it seems that you just got very lucky. And this doesn't seem like a very good reason to think that this God exists.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
What do you think a answered prayer would look like?
answer prayer, it would look like something that definitely could not have happened on its own.
Well, for example,
What?
you just prayed for Dalton's sight to be restored. So an answer to that prayer would be a restoration of Dalton's sight.
And to be clear, I still cannot see.
Do you believe it can happen though?
Does it require me to believe in it before it to work? Why is God's power limited by what I believe? All right, then it doesn't matter what I believe.
I don't think it.
God should be able to heal me without me believing it. You believe it, and Jesus said, if you have faith, even the size of a mustard seed, you'd be able to say to this mountain, you would be able to uproot this mountain and throw it into the sea. And surely my feeble little eyes easier than moving a mountain. So you have more than enough faith for my eyes to be healed, and yet I still cannot read the comments over here.
Did you take your glasses off, or do you not have?
Yes.
Do you have glasses on?
I took my glasses off. I cannot see without them.
Well, keep them off then.
I can't. Well, how do I get to the store? I can't drive without these on, or else I'll kill somebody. It's irresponsible. Maybe he should just heal my eyes right now.
Have faith. Have faith for 5 minutes. Keep them off for 5 minutes, and
he has already kept them off for 5 minutes.
I've had them off this entire time.
Don't give up. Then you can't give up. You can't give up.
Wait.
It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen.
For God to answer your prayer, you have to like work hard enough for it. So he's not going to just do it for you. You have to demonstrate that you're working hard enough and earning it.
No, you just got to have faith.
I can't just have faith. I will have faith in the God if he heals my eyes. How about that?
To be clear, Sloan, that's actually not biblical.
That's what I'm saying.
What you're claiming is not, no, Sloan, what you're claiming is not biblical. God did miracles to people who did not have any faith. God does not require that Dalton have faith in order for God to change his eyes.
Okay.
So there's no like trying to say that Dalton doesn't have enough faith or that he's not working hard enough for it or that he's not trying hard. None of that is biblical. So clearly God did not answer your prayer.
He did though.
How do why do you think he answered your prayer?
Because he's answered every other one. Why would he stop now? He ain't going to stop now.
All right. Well, I guess in 5 minutes we'll find out if I have my vision.
Right now, but it's happened. All right. We're gonna see, and you're gonna see too.
All right, Sloan. We'll tell you what.
If God lets this happen, would that have you convinced though?
If Dalton can magically see, yes, and
yes.
So we're on this show every week.
Not magically, like if God allows it, it'll have to be God if it happens.
Like without a treatment, it just spontaneously heals.
If by the end of this show, I'm able to see and read the comments without squinting my eyes, without putting my glasses on, then I will believe in your God. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
Okay. I mean, it can be at any time. If you one day you're going to take off those glasses.
No, not anytime.
You're going to be able to.
If your God exists, I'm telling him right now, he better do it before the end of the show, or else I'm not going to think it was him.
You never know.
Well, so Sloan, we do this every week. So why don't we
you never know what you're gonna
end here? You are welcome to call back next week, and we can give you an update.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yes,
all right.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you calling in, and I hope you have a great night.
Okay, thank you.
Before we move on. Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next call, everyone, I just got told instead of me just showing you guys right now my photos of me as an altar boy, a grown ass altar boy, in the Catholic Church, if we manage to get up to $50 worth of super chats, then I will show you guys me in my altar server gown. I'll put it in them super chats, y'all.
Let's do it. I want to see. I have not seen this photo. Okay, next on our list is John from Colorado, who wants to talk about evolution. John,
Hey
hello.
guys.
Can you hear us? Hi.
So I'm just curious, academically, do either of you have like a specialty or like a degree of some sort?
Um, yes. So my academic area of expertise is human physiology.
Okay, that's a little vague. What does that
Mm,
It's
entail?
very that's a
You
that's a
don't
very
know.
specific.
I mean, do you want me to tell you what my dissertation was, or
Well, that helps, but I'm just like, well, you're going to medical school, right? And
no?
you
No.
learn
So
about
I have
that
a
sort of thing.
PhD. I have a PhD in human physiology.
Oh, I guess I don't understand that term, physiology. Sorry.
So physiology is the study of how the body works.
Well, like a medical doctor or a chemist.
So closer to a biologist.
Oh, okay. And then the other person here, what about him or her or whatever you call
I have a high
yourself?
school education and I give them hell attitude.
Okay,
How
and
about you,
okay,
John?
that's fine. Me,
Hmm.
I'm a high school dropout personally,
Okay.
so I don't know much. But I've been on the internet for a very long time. And I've been looking at stuff. That's all. So,
Gotcha.
I guess the topic was evolution.
It sounds like that's what you wanted to talk about was evolution.
Right, right. Well, it was just something I found out about recently, and of course, who knows? Maybe it's like fake news or something. I don't know. But there's this being called I think it's called an axolotl.
There is a thing called an
Right,
axolotl. Yes.
They're very cute
right.
and
And they can
pink.
and they can regrow its limbs and even some of its organs.
Okay. I actually don't know much about axolotls. There are many different types of lizards, amphibians that can regrow some of their limbs, so it doesn't sound too crazy to me.
This is your axolotl.
Right.
Axolotl.
Did you ever see Swamp Man, the old movie? He could regrow his limbs. Anyhow, apparently we found this gene that was dormant in the human genome, which does the exact same thing. And we learned that to turn back on. So what I was thinking was, well, that seems like a really great trick, and it would really improve, the survival rate of human beings. Well, why was that turned off? Evolution, it was there, and it was like, this ain't no good. I'm turning this off.
Well, evolution doesn't choose, doesn't actively. There's evolution isn't like some sort of agent that chooses what genes get turned
No,
on and
no, not
turned
an
off.
agent, of course.
It's just whatever is most
I'm just
beneficial
saying,
towards a
if I
particular.
could regrow a cut off limb, wouldn't that be a great advantage to me?
It would
So
it would seem like
An organ that failed, and then my genetics was like, let's regrow this so this being will survive.
right. So
I'm
the
not
way
talking about
that
agency exactly.
the way that evolution functions is a lot of functions of the human body. Also, can you get somewhere maybe where it's less windy? Um, Evolution often gets us to a state of trade-offs. Some functions come with a cost. So it costs maybe a lot of calories, a lot of energy to do certain things. Also, the way evolution functions, you might have multiple things changing at once. They sort of co-evolve. So that also could explain it, but I'm actually not aware of this gene. So I cannot verify any more specifically what you're saying.
Let's say, for the sake of argument, all right, even if this might be like fake news or I was
Okay.
deceived or something. Let's just say this was true. And you got a bunch of humans walking around with a bad organ that might be regrown, or a bad limb that might be regrown. And then that allows humans to go on existing.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm just saying,
I would,
evolution.
I would,
Why would
I would
we?
just
Why
say
would we?
that.
Why would we take that gene? Why would we
Yeah, I
take
would
that
just say
gene
that.
and turn it back on? Why not just trust evolution and leave it off?
Well, trusting evolution, species go extinct all the time. I'd rather not do that. So, I think we should just take things into our own
Well,
hands if
why
we have the
fight evolution?
ability, because we're human
But
beings
why?
and we can
Who
do
are
it.
we to question evolution?
What?
You keep talking about evolution like it's a deity. You don't. Evolution is not something it's not an agent. You can't question it. You can't do anything like that. Evolution is just a process. And as human beings, if we
Right.
have the ability to like change, we can do it because we can do it. We're humans. We take things into our own hands. We don't need to ask evolution for permission to do anything.
But why fight evolution? Hasn't it worked so well so far?
If it ends up resulting in us going extinct, then no, we shouldn't trust. Again, evolution's also not something you trust in. It's a process.
Yeah, John, can I just ask
It's
you,
a process.
John, do you believe evolution is true?
I don't suppose I understand evolution exactly.
I'm happy to explain it to you if that would be helpful.
Well, of course, I've learned about it, and I'm sort of on the fence, I guess. But what I'm saying
Okay,
is, if
which part
evolution
are
has
you
done
on the fence
so much
about?
good, look, we're here, right? The dinosaurs are gone. We're here now, and
Uh-huh.
this natural process has happened. And why are we trying to fight it?
Because we would like to survive. I'd rather not go
But
extinct.
this evolutionary process is going to keep going no matter what you want to happen.
Uh-huh.
It's going to
Well,
keep going.
nope, not if I intervene by editing genes.
Well, you can do that, but I'm sure you've
Why not
studied a
do
little
it?
bit about that,
Why not
and
do it?
and it
I,
it will just
I think
it
the
will just
problem
fight
here,
you. It'll just fight
I
you.
think the problem here, John, is that you are treating the atheist in regards to evolution the way that you imagine the Christian acts in regards to God. Like you understand God to be this overarching power you can't question. So you're imagining that the atheist is in a similar position with evolution, but that's not the case. That's not our, we don't believe that we owe the process of evolution anything. It doesn't get to tell us what to do. It's not our boss. It's just how we got here.
Right.
And that's it, nothing more. There's no reason why, if we can fight it, why we can't do it.
So you think that you're in control,
We
or you
can
could
be.
be in control?
Yes.
There are things we can control, if that helps.
A little bit.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, well, would it be nice if human beings didn't have to suffer so much, and we can go back and go, look, it works this way. We don't got no technological advances or nothing. We don't need that. You can just turn this gene back on, and then this person who's missing a leg can just regrow it back.
So
Or certain organs,
the
like we don't need transplants. We can just turn this gene back on and regrow it back.
John, the existence of this gene being activated would not solve all those problems. So we would still have human suffering. And if there is a way
Well,
to
it'd be
activate...
a little less.
Okay. So are you asking if we are like morally in favor of activating a gene that would regrow limbs?
Well, I'd be in favor of it, but I'm just saying, if
Okay.
evolution is working, I don't think we should interfere with it.
I don't know why not.
Well, it's been working fine on its own without us.
Well, so again, what evolution does, evolution is just the process of how species change over time. And the more an organism is able to reproduce, the more successful it is. Evolution is not a process in which some ideal creature emerges. So, human beings, the way our bodies are, we have a lot of trade-offs. So, for example, we need vitamin D. We have vitamin D receptors all over our organs. Vitamin D is really important. However,
I don't need vitamin D.
The way that we absorb vitamin D is primarily through sunlight. And sunlight gives us skin cancer when we are exposed to it regularly. And so we do interfere in evolution by wearing sunscreen and, eating fatty fish and taking vitamin D supplements, right? So evolution is a process that helps our species keep existing, but it is in no way creating ideal or perfect creatures.
Well, the dinosaurs were going pretty good. And then all of a sudden, they're gone.
Well, it wasn't all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It took a long time for them to die out.
Well, there
They
was
existed.
a
They existed
meteor,
for
too.
there was a meteor, and then the dust storms, and climate change, and a lot of things that resulted in the dinosaurs slowly dying out. Although not completely, because their descendants are still here.
Oh, well, that's true. That's true. Well, I'm just saying, evolution can only go so far. And we're here, and we're like, everything's fine, and we're smart. And all of a sudden, asteroid or comet or something, and then it's all over.
So, yes.
But
And no one
now-
thinks that everything is fine, right? I mean, that's why we have an entire medical field. We have a medical field because the human body stops functioning well. And so we intervene to
you've
help it
got
function better.
medical, you've got astronomical, you've got physics, you've got a lot of stuff here. I mean, it's amazing.
Yep.
And then, except for the astronomical part.
Well, no, we are working on ways of dealing with asteroids if they
part of
ever
the
were to
geological
come.
part, I guess.
Okay. So are you trying to
But
tell
would it be
us,
nice
like,
if
what's
for
your
now-
conclusion here? So are you trying to say that, like, is this evidence that evolution doesn't exist, or is this evidence for God, or like, what's your takeaway point here?
Well, I could argue plenty about the existence of God. Of course, you would have rebuttals to that, and it would kind of be an ongoing argument between us. I don't see any point in that. What I'm saying is, wouldn't it be nice if someone missing a limb or somebody has this vital organ that could be restored?
Yes, it would
Wouldn't
be
that
nice.
be nice?
Yes.
Yes,
Turn that
it
thing
would-
back
it would
on.
be-
So we all
It would be
agree.
nice.
So now what?
Well, I'm just saying, the question is, if evolution is real, well, then why would it shut something like that off?
Okay, so
There's
like
gotta
I
be reason
explained at the
for it.
beginning, and I don't think you were listening to me when I explained this to you at the beginning, evolution is more complex than like a person looking at switches and flipping them on and off. So sometimes multiple genes evolve simultaneously. Sometimes what appears to be advantageous actually has a big trade-off. And again, I don't
So
even
growing
know.
back my limb or growing back a vital organ, there's a trade-off to that, and
Yep.
somehow evolution figured that out and said, "Let's
Oh,
just
God.
shut this."
Evolution doesn't figure anything out because, again, it's not an agent.
No, so
It doesn't
what
make
would
choices.
happen,
Right,
John, what would happen is, let's say there are some humans who have that gene turned on. If the trade-off isn't worth it, that means that those humans would die before they were able to reproduce. And so that particular mutation wouldn't be passed on because there was a negative trade-off. There's no
But if
agent
I'm
that
a
is.
famous warrior and I can protect all the other people from getting killed so they can reproduce. Well, that's advantageous.
Okay.
Because all those
If you as
weak people,
but evolution,
I get to
evolution,
fight, protect them.
John, evolution doesn't affect individuals within a species; it affects the whole group.
That's true.
Okay. So
I guess
I
the main
think we're at
question is, why
I
shut
don't
that
think you've
Yeah.
gene
made a
off?
convincing
Why
argument
shut the
here.
gene off? There's no convincing argument. Why shut that gene off? I can regrow
I've explained
grow a
it to you
limb,
3 times, and it
regrow
seems
some
like you're
certain
just not
organs.
listening, John.
and the genetics already put that in there. But
Well,
I shut it
John,
off. Why?
here's your homework, John. I want you to go look up what an argument from personal incredulity is, and then you can call back at another day.
Look, I'm just seeing a bunch of people without limbs, is what I'm saying.
Okay. So
I
thank
think it
you
would be
for
better
calling,
if those
John.
people
I
could go
appreciate
on
you calling
operating
in,
in
but I think we're
lifetime
going to have to end
without
it
missing
here.
organs and missing
I hope
limbs.
you have a good night.
But evolution shut that gene.
Just kept going.
He was not going to listen to a single word I said.
No. All right, everyone. So you guys did in fact pull through, and we got over $50 worth of supers. So here's Dalton back when I was a Catholic altar man. Oh, I hate this so much. There we go.
Wait, can it zoom in a little?
Here, I can.
Oh wait, I have my thing small. It probably doesn't need to be zoomed in. Is this real?
This is really real. Oh, here, let me just make it a little bit bigger. There we go.
Oh my God. Look at you. I gotta be honest, I do not have a picture that is that embarrassing.
Well, I'm glad I was able to do that for all of you. I hope you all took your screenshots. Well, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
If anyone ever questions the fact that I was Catholic, I was hardcore Catholic.
That is that is hardcore.
I gave up my bed to sleep on the floor like St. Francis of Assisi and prayed my rosary in Latin.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Amazing.
Boy, oh boy. Dalton the altar guy. Alternate universe.
God.
Alternate universe.
I need Justin's like soundboard for the like.
Yeah.
All right, we do have another caller. This is Igor from Illinois, who is an agnostic. And I don't know if I can summarize that well. So we will get him on the air. Igor, hello, welcome.
Hey, hi, how are you guys?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I have enjoyed this conversation with you and the other guys.
Awesome. I'm glad.
Yes. Although from time to time it looked like you and them you speak like in different languages, but
it does feel that way.
I guess
sometimes.
it's okay. Yes, it does feel that way. Yes.
Yes, it happens. Well, what can we do for you tonight?
Well, you already did a lot for accepting my call, but let's maybe if you want, you can buy me an ice cream, but we'll talk about it later. So for now, let's go into. I thought that your basic what you wanted to state at the beginning is whether the Bible is reliable, right? That was one of the main things mentioned at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I would say, and I apologize, English is not my first language, so I'll try to keep my my story intellectually stimulating for you guys. So what I would say is that for the believing community, it doesn't matter at all if the Bible is truthful or reliable. And I have a couple of arguments that will come together. So please be patient if you can. Well, according to Felix, you're atheist. You cannot be patient, but try.
Okay,
So
if you could just like
the
summarize them real quick, that would like 1, 2, 3, and then we can get into
Oh,
it.
yeah. I will not take your time. Yes, it'll a couple of minutes. Yeah. So basically, first, the Bible, we give too much power to the Bible. I don't know if that's because of our Protestant heritage or whatever it is, but we give too much power to the Bible. The Bible in itself doesn't have to transfer truth. The Bible is not a textbook. It's not even a history book, as we know the history book, like a scholarly book. The Bible is a story. So let's say the Bible is a story, almost like a fable. You know, like when the fox looks at the fruit, and the fox tries to grab the fruit, but it's too high, and then the fox says, "Oh, anyway, it was sour, so I didn't want it in the first place." So the Bible transfers that kinds of information. Because I remember when I first time went to the church, I heard the pastor saying, the blood of Jesus is cleansing us from every sin. And suddenly I'm like, what is this guy talking? The blood is red. It cannot be cleaning us from anything. And then he said, yes, and then we'll be white as snow. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, no,
red.
I'm following the what you're saying is that the Bible is metaphoric or allegoric, or it is teaching us lessons.
Exactly.
Okay.
But not only that. Yes, but not only that. There is another layer. The Bible is not important in what it conveys. It is important to keep the community glued. The Bible is just a text. It cannot do anything. Like any text, the text is not a person. If I say to you, so and so, you will ask me, did I understand you correctly? And then if you did, I'll say yes. If you didn't, I'll say no. The Bible cannot say that. We can put whatever understanding we want on the Bible. So that's why the community actually creates the Bible as a glue. There is no one.
If I could pop in there just for a second, though, I do understand that like if you're saying what's really important is the community, and that's what the benefit is, but there are many Christian communities that the glue holding that community together is belief that the Bible is the perfect word of God. And so if that community does not hold that belief anymore, then that community dissolves.
Yes. And the belief that the Bible is the word of God is the hold, not the truth of the Bible per se, but the belief that the Bible is the word of God, whatever that is.
Here's the problem, bud. 50% of all Christians in the world today are Catholic. And the Catholic Church would absolutely deteriorate and dissolve and disappear if the Bible isn't true. The Catholic faith is dependent on the truth of the Bible. As Paul says in 1 Corinthians 15, verse 14, and if Christ be not raised, then our faith, preaching is vain, and our faith is also vain. And the Catholic Church would agree with that statement. Thus, 50% of all 50% of all Christian communities in the world are dependent upon the truth of the Bible.
Well, I would say they're dependent on the psychological notion that the Bible is true. They're not depending on verifying every text of the Bible.
Because so I think we agree that. But if your claim is it doesn't matter. Wait, hold on just a second. If you're saying it doesn't matter if the Bible is objectively correct, what matters is that the whole community believes that it's correct, then I actually think we're all on the same page. Christians are convinced that the Bible is true. And so what we are here debating is it true? And so if your claim is Christians believe it's true, and Christians' belief in it being true holds them together, again, I think we're all in agreement.
Well, it's a little bit deeper than that, because when we talk to fundamentalist Christians and when we show them the contradictions in the Bible, they see those contradictions, but then they find a way to wiggle out of it. So it is not important for them, even though they say it's important to be completely true. It's not.
So
that
Igor, are
means
you
that-
familiar? Are you familiar with the Nicene Creed?
I'm sorry, 19?
Are you familiar with what's called the Nicene Creed?
The Nicene Creed. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a theologian. Yes, I'm familiar with a lot of stuff. Yes.
And Christians, well over 50%, because all Catholics and then even other Christians like Orthodox and even many Lutherans, Anglicans will profess the Nicene Creed on every Sunday at church, where it states, and I quote, "He suffered death and was buried and rose again on the third day in accordance with the scriptures." This is something that you must believe in order to be a member of the Catholic Church. You have to believe that Jesus did all these things, quote, in accordance with the scriptures. And if the scriptures aren't true, this would be the end of Catholicism.
Well, if you ask them, can they prove that the Jesus rise from the dead? They cannot. The faith is important. The faith, according to the scriptures, not the proof.
I suggest you call into the Catholic Answers show and tell them that. They will tell you that they can, in fact, prove the resurrection. That's their opinion. I think they're wrong, but Catholic apologists would claim that they can, in fact, prove the resurrection.
The Catholic apologists, yes, but then there's Orthodox people, there's a Protestant people, there are critical scholars, there are conservative scholars, so they all have a different opinion. My goal was not that, though. My goal was a little bit different. What I wanted to say is that when people go to church, they are taught how to read the Bible. They say, okay, God is such and such, there is a Bible verse for that. God is this, there is a Bible word for that. You need to do this, there is a Bible word for that. So people are not reading the Bible as it is. The people are just given parts. They're taught how to read and interpret the Bible. So basically what we have in the church is an interpretation of the Bible from the leadership of the church. When you started as a Christian, I'm sure that you didn't sit at home, read the Bible, and said, "Oh my God, there it is! I will be from tomorrow a Catholic, a deacon in the church." No, you probably had friends or family who told you, "This is God, this is so, and they guide you in the church.
I read the Bible and for a time was convinced because of the Bible that Catholicism was true, which is why I joined the Catholic Church. And then I left as soon as I figured out that the Bible wasn't true.
So I just real quick, do I pronounce your name Igor or Igor?
It is Igor. Thank you. It's beautiful.
Igor.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So, I'm not sure what point you're wanting to make to us, because are
so
you
the
trying?
point I wanted to make is that you're asking whether the Bible is reliable or not. The point I wanted to make is that is an irrelevant question for the faith.
Well, it is not irrelevant to all the Christians who do believe it is factually true. They find it to be a very relevant question.
Okay, so what I went back to you is when you said that is they think they believe that. That's what the church is telling them. This is what is important. But when we tell them that some parts of the Bible are not true, they're not losing their faith. When you tell them, for example, look at the contradictions.
Wait, Igor, they think you are wrong about the part not being true. So it's not that they don't care that the Bible's true or not. It's that they think the words that you're saying about the Bible are false. So if you take someone, especially a Protestant, to whom the Bible is basically their entire relationship with God, which will be a little different from, Catholicism and Orthodoxy.
Right.
And you point out a contradiction to them. It's not that they're saying, "Oh, you're right, I don't care actually if the Bible's true." That is not what they're saying. They're saying it's not a Igor, wait, let me finish, please. They are saying you are wrong that it's a contradiction. It is actually not a contradiction, and every word of this is true. So whether or not the Bible is reliable is the cornerstone of many people's faith, even if they aren't being particularly logical about it.
Yeah, I can say that as an ex-Christian, my entire faith was entirely dependent on whether or not the Bible was true. And as soon as I found out the Bible was true, I no longer could be a Christian, and I left.
And that is a logical position. But what I'm saying is that many Christians, as you also said, are not logical. And when I tell them about those contradictions, they often say they don't care. They trust their God. I've talked to many Christians. I was a pastor in a church.
Right.
I have a degree in theology. But what they're telling me is, you know what? The Bible might have some mistakes, but
No, they're not
trust my
saying
God.
that. Like the people who,
Well, so now I'm
again,
telling you what they're saying, and you're telling me that they're not saying. Okay.
so again, people whose faith is reliant on the Bible being true, they may be saying you are wrong that it's a contradiction. Now, this varies from Christian to Christian, right? So Protestants and fundamentalists certainly will say, no, the Bible is 100% true. You may also have Christians who are in different denominations, who are not like sola scriptura, that it's maybe not that important that the Bible is 100% true. So this is not a universal thing amongst Christians. Some Christians
Right.
do care that it's 100% true, and some Christians do not.
Yes.
Great.
Like
I'm glad
the
we agree.
caller before, remember the guy who prayed?
Uh-huh.
He said his prayer was the most important thing, not the Bible.
Okay. Well, sure. Again,
I
Christians
guarantee-
are very diverse.
I don't want to,
Yeah.
guys. I don't want to frustrate you. Okay, it's fine. I try to explain something. If we got something very good, if not, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't get frustrated. I don't want to be one of those guys.
All right. Well, thank you then very much for calling, and we appreciate
Thank
you
you so
calling
much.
in. You're
Of
welcome.
course.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
night.
Strangely enough, a lot of the weirdest calls we get on here are from people who aren't believers.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't sure why he wanted to argue about that. I'm not
I
sure
also
why
wonder that
was
we
it
get
so
so many.
important we agreed
We
to
get
that
so
one point?
Yeah, we get so many atheists and agnostics who call in. And I'm like that I vehemently disagree with. Just so if you're a Christian right now and you're watching right now, just so you know, we are not biased only like towards one position. Like I'm willing to say that non-believers are just as weird sometimes, if not more.
Alrighty, we have another call. This is Jason from New Zealand, and Jason is an atheist. Hello, Jason.
Hi there.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Good, thanks. Yeah, I just have to say, listening to you, I really enjoy your laugh. It really makes me smile every time I hear you laugh, Sarah.
Thanks. Well, what can we do for you?
Yeah, well, I grew up Mormon, and yeah, obviously, it's not really considered part of the evangelical umbrella as far as I know. But I mean, to me, you know, maybe that's a historical thing, but you know, behavior-wise with their missionary work and whatnot, they seem to be one of the most evangelical sects of Christianity in their behavior. If you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I wasn't sure what you thought about that. Whether you think that's interesting or not. It just occurred to me.
That Mormons are evangelical in their behavior?
Yeah. Because isn't evangelizing, you know, going out and preaching the gospel and trying to convert people?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's different branches of Christianity take the Great Commission to different levels of seriousness or different interpretation. And, you know, in the US, we use the term evangelical kind of broadly. So the term evangelical doesn't just mean Christians who try to convert others, but it's like this umbrella term of a bunch of Protestant denominations who share some other core beliefs.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think certainly Mormons are very fervent in their desire to convert others and their dedication to going on missions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which they have to
And
pay
I mean,
for
it is
themselves.
really
Which they have
a
to pay
branch
for
of
themselves.
Christianity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when it comes to the definition of like what it means to be evangelical, the classic academic definition would be like what's called the Bebbington Quadrilateral, which says that evangelicalism is marked by 4 different traits, being biblical, like biblicalism. Biblicism, which is like the idea that the highest priority for Christians is their belief and practice. Crucicentrism, so like a really hardcore centrality to like the idea of the death and burial and resurrection of Jesus as the means of salvation. There's also the idea of conversionism, the idea that one must be born again in order to see the kingdom of God. And then activism, like, you know, going out and doing a lot of public work in regards to spreading the gospel.
All right. Yeah. I guess I was focusing on the last one of those rather than the other things. Yeah. No, I didn't want to make the whole call about that. I just thought, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if there's a way of shoehorning Mormons in, because of course they're a really high control religion. There's a lot of really specific rules that you got to try and follow. And I know that's a feature of the other evangelical streams. Is that right?
Many, yes. I mean, I would say high control is, I would say, pretty common, frequent in evangelicalism. There's often a lot of like social rules. You have to generally be pretty conservative, and there's a lot of emphasis on purity. You know, a lot of kind of social norms that you have to follow. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's very much the same in Mormonism, as you might know. There's a lot of very specific rules. I mean, a lot of people know about the no drinking, no tea or coffee, and there's also real purity rules. You got to go and confess to your bishop if you've done anything sexual, there's very. I mean, even the way you're supposed to dress on Sunday, although it's not specifically written down. There's a certain way that's sort of expected, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that range, like, there's sort of a fundamentalist end of the spectrum and a little bit less fundamentalist end of the spectrum. So clothing can range in that. Yeah. So yeah, I think there's, doing what we do, talking to ex-Christians a lot. I think there's so much in common that people like ex-evangelicals and ex-Mormons, we have a lot of very similar experiences, like a lot of things that we share in common. So yeah, I think it's very similar.
Yeah. One thing I've been noticing lately, because I just sort of assumed, I've put that all behind me. I went through my angry atheist phase, and lately I've been noticing, here and there, things that my involvement in religion has actually given me, which are positives, and I can take forward. But yeah, lately I've been noticing that there's a hangover of superstitious thinking that's come from my involvement in Mormonism, I would say, where because there's a real focus on your feelings, and also the idea that events that happen in your life have a certain significance, and so things that like all these random coincidences that seem too good to be true actually mean something, because the world's being orchestrated in a certain way.
Like the guy who came on a few.
past that.
A few calls ago, I think it was our first caller was explaining how all these little coincidences were proof to him that the Bible was real and that God was real. And I think you do see a lot
Oh,
of
wow.
yeah, and believing that God has a plan for you and that you just have to kind of tap into that plan. And I think a lot of people who have deconstructed will find that it is kind of hard to deprogram that. I think a lot of people have had this experience where after you stop believing, you still get this sense of like when something bad happens or when you get sick or injured, that like, oh no, what did I do wrong? Like, what sin did I commit for this bad thing to happen to me? And then you kind of catch yourself like,
Yeah.
oh, wait, no, I don't believe that anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've seen that indoctrination firsthand, because I used to do some care work for people with intellectual disabilities. That terminology might not be quite correct at the moment, but that's what we used to call it back in the day when I was involved. And hopefully people will know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, this one young man that I was supporting, things started not to go his way this particular day, and he was from a very devoutly religious, I think it was Close Brethren or something like that. It was a very staunch sect that believed in that there were a lot of spiritual and demonic forces at play, and so he grabbed this Spider-Man T-shirt that he had, and he said, "Oh, that's where it's coming from. That's what's making things go bad. You know, these spider webs have got this demonic symbol in them, and so I've got to destroy them." And he started ripping up this T-shirt. It was really really quite dramatic. And I think that's quite dangerous because if we misunderstand how life is operating, then we're not going to be able to solve things in life. Hey,
right. Yeah, I mean, I think you've got a lot of agreement here. Well, Jason, thank you so much for calling in, and again for kind of reiterating what we have in common between evangelicals, ex-evangelicals, and ex-Mormons. Again, I think a lot of us have maybe more in common than we give ourselves credit for. So yeah, thanks so much for calling in.
Well, someone needs to tell Pete Hegseth so he puts Mormons back onto the religions list.
All right. Have a great night.
Just
Thanks
a quick
very much.
reminder, everyone. Oh,
wait, did I? Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Just a quick reminder to everyone that if you want to call into the show, the number is 720-619-2288. If you're a theist and you'd like to let us know why we should believe in your God, why we should think the Bible is reliable, why Jesus is the Messiah or he's resurrected from the dead, call on in. Let's have a conversation. I won't bite unless you ask me to.
I wasn't prepared for that.
I know how to advertise.
And also, just a reminder that we're going to read super chats that are $5. Okay, I got it. Okay. Next is Kevin from New York, who is a theist. Hello, welcome in.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, you bet. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I hope you two are having a good Saturday.
Definitely. Yeah. Hope you are too. Well, what can we do for you?
Well, your topic had me calling in. I wanted to throw my 2 cents in about that, about whether or not the Bible is reliable.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, here's the perspective that I want you two to take a look at. Well, obviously, I think that it is reliable, but we can take specific things, even things that come out of the New Testament, And I think that it would be right, in my opinion, to call the Bible a living text. And I'm going to try to work to prove that for you. Because as we focus on the New Testament, which is centered around Jesus and his disciples, well, Jesus and his disciples, the people he chose as his disciples, or more specifically, Peter, you can take that individual and come to understand Peter is the key to understanding the church and all of its history, all the way up till now. And through that, the Bible kind of shows in some way its power to prophesy all the way up to our times. Because when you read the New Testament and it starts to talk about Peter, and the reason why Jesus chose Peter as his disciple, focus on that conversation on which he was walking along with his disciples, and Jesus had asked his disciples, "Who do you think I am?" Well, Peter was the only one to get that answer right. And then Jesus' response was, Simon, you will be known as Peter, meaning the rock, and on this rock I'll build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it, and so on and so forth.
It sounds like you're using part of the text to show that the other part of the text is reliable. Why do you think anything in the Bible is reliable? Like, why should I believe that any of this happened?
I'm getting exactly to that, because through this individual that I'm focusing on in the Bible, Peter, you can understand this individual as being the key to understand everything that the church has done in its history, is doing now, and is about to do. And so through that, that is one instance in which the Bible proves its power to prophesy and is relevant even during our times.
So,
Jesus.
You said the power.
Yes.
The Bible has the power to prophesy, but the Bible contains prophecies that failed to come to pass.
Which one are you referring to?
Yeah, at the end of the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 16, Jesus prophesies. He gives us a time frame for when he would return. He says to his disciples, "For the Son of Man is to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and then he will repay everyone for what has been done. Truly, I tell you, there are some standing here who will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom." But everyone there died, and Jesus never returned.
That's really interesting. I'll have to take a closer look at that, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I even completely understand that myself. So I had to take a closer look at that.
Okay,
but,
yeah, I
it's
think
not only.
Have you read the entire Bible?
Yes. Yeah, but I've also read the books that were said to have been taken out of the Bible, which I think are valid. I actually need to be reintroduced to it, because if these apocryphal, pseudo-epigraphical texts were reintroduced to the Bible, I think it would bring more clarity to it. Because my understanding of the Bible is actually, it might be in some ways radically different from the average Christian, because I consider those texts outside of denominations.
Just to be clear, okay, so there are some books. It depends on what kind of Bible you have. What books do you think that were taken out?
Well, there are all kinds. One that I could bring up really quickly, which if people were to read and to
combine it with the knowledge that was already known, say, in the New Testament, it would radically change how they understand it. For example, there's an apocryphal text that goes by the name of there's two different titles. It's the first and second book of Adam and Eve. It's also called the conflict of Adam and Eve with Satan. But
So
if you read through this and
just to be clear,
take the information that was told to us, yes.
Just to be clear, Kevin, those books were not removed from the Bible because they were never part of the Bible to begin with. When the church decided on a canon, before the church decided on a canon, there was no such thing as the Bible. And when they did create a Bible, they didn't include those books. So they weren't taken out. They just were never included in the first place. But my problem with considering the Bible,
yes.
my problem with considering the Bible to be reliable is the fact that the Bible is historically inaccurate, scientifically inaccurate, contains contradictions, and Jesus fails to fulfill even a single prophecy from the Old Testament about the Messiah, which is why I do not consider the Bible to be reliable.
Well, going back to what I was originally saying, I only told you that this part in the New Testament centered around parts where it talks about Peter would then explain to you the church and all of its history. That's why
Matthew
I think
16?
that it's reliable. That's only a small.
Matthew 16, Jesus and the disciples are at Caesarea Philippi. Jesus asked, "Who do people say that I am?" They said, "Some say you're the prophet, some say you're John the Baptist." And then he says, "But who do you say I am?" And Peter says, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." The problem is that Jesus cannot be the Christ if he doesn't fulfill prophecies about the Christ from the Old Testament.
I see what you're saying, but try to look at it from this perspective. If you take all of that as a whole, the interactions between Jesus and Peter is, you can basically sum it up in the way of Jesus saying that the church is going to fail, but at the same time facilitate God's plan by failing to do so.
He usually says,
to look at it another way.
He says the opposite.
Yeah, that's not what the
doesn't it-
text says.
The gates of hell shall not prevail against it. It says it won't fail. The church won't fail.
Well, you can take that, but you also have to look at other parts too. I mean,
Wait, so this was the passage that you
like, for
brought to
example-
us that showed us that this is a fulfilled prophecy. This is what makes the Bible reliable. And so this passage is saying that the church won't fail, but you're saying the church did fail, and that's how you know it's reliable?
Yeah, the church did fail in the way that if the church as a whole actually did follow Jesus' teachings, that individual Christians ourselves would be a living representation of love on earth, and then thus be a good example for other people. But we don't see any of that.
So
that's
none of
like a
this
reason to
came
think that's-
true then.
And so,
Yeah, it seems like this is a reason to think the Bible is not reliable, because Jesus said that on you, Peter, I will build my church and the gates of hell will not prevail against it, but you think that they did prevail against it. So it looks like Jesus was wrong.
mhm. But Jesus also said in John 21:18, while talking to Peter, who is the symbolic representation of the church in all of its history.
Wait, so you agree that
when
Jesus
Peter
was wrong?
young,
You agree that
wrong
Jesus
about
was
what?
wrong?
That the gates of hell would not prevail against the church.
Well, I need to think about that. I'm not sure exactly. I need to
Okay,
think more
so-
on that before I
Yeah, it
answer
sounds
that
like your
question.
primary argument here is failing.
Much like the church.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you guys. But I also said that the church is going to facilitate God's plan by failing to do so, and
So
that was
wait, Jesus
prophesied in the Bible.
said that. So you are deciding that the church is going to prevail eventually, even though right
No,
now it's failing.
yes, yes,
So,
absolutely.
okay, so you're saying you
Yeah,
know the
because
Bible is reliable because you think that in the future this is going to come true, even though it hasn't come true yet.
yeah, there's a whole bunch of other things that makes me say that because I was about to tell you this also, but I never got to it. Jesus also says in John 21:18, when talking to Peter, who is supposed to represent the church, that in his youth he dressed himself and carried himself wherever he wanted to go. But in his older age, which is supposed to represent the older age of the church far into the future, that another will take him by his hand and carry him where he did not want to go.
So
that brings more understanding to what I'm trying to tell you.
why do you keep saying this, that Peter represents the church? Why do you keep saying that? The Bible doesn't say that.
Well, I just explained it. That was the meaning behind Jesus telling
How
the
do you,
disciple known as Simon that his name was Peter,
so Kevin,
and
how do you know what
Peter
Jesus
meaning the
really
rock.
meant?
And
So you keep like we tell you what the Bible says and you keep saying, but this is what it actually means. So why like how do you personally know that your new interpretations are correct? Like why do you get to determine what Jesus really meant?
I'm putting it like that way, but I'm open to change. The reason why I'm stuck like this is because if you take this understanding that Peter could be taken as the key to understanding the church, then it works as a formula and it's consistent in all the
There's nothing.
interactions that Peter has with Jesus in the Bible.
It seems like this is arbitrary. There's nothing in the text that would tell me that Peter is meant to represent the church. It says in the Matthew 16 that Jesus said he would build the church on Peter, which is meant that he's supposed to be like the cornerstone by which the community would be built off of. But there's nothing in the text that says that Peter is meant to be a symbolic representation of the church. And also that whole "you will be taken" passage from John 21, the Gospel of John was written in the late 90s. It's just making reference to the fact that in the 60s, Peter was executed by the Romans. It has nothing to do with the symbology of the church.
I know that that's how people interpret it, but I think that that's actually incorrect if you use the other formula that I was referring to because it is consistent. You can take,
but why would we do that?
Moments
Text doesn't.
in which,
but why would I do that when the text never gives me a reason to believe that Peter is meant to represent the church?
It doesn't give a reason. I just gave you the reason twice.
No,
it's a formula that it's a formula or a principle that Jesus himself created. Even if you don't believe that Jesus is created,
show me where in the text Jesus.
Then
show me where in the text Jesus tells us that Peter is meant to represent the church.
I said it twice already that
Matthew
his
16
name
doesn't
wasn't
say
Peter to begin with. It was Simon.
I know his name was Simon, and then he names
him the name Peter because Peter means the rock, and on this rock I'll build my church.
I will build my church on this rock, not that the church is represented by this person.
Yeah.
Like the Catholic Church has
Peter
a much better
his entire life was supposed to represent the church, and that's why Jesus chose Peter out of all the people.
But you just made that up.
Yeah, you did just make that up. I don't see that anywhere in the text.
It's an interpretation that I'm telling you is consistent.
It's not you. It's like
you can see it as a formula too, because if you take that understanding that I just told you and look at other parts in which Jesus is interacting with Peter, then it works the same.
So if I create a formula in which every time Paul is mentioned, I decide to give it a number, and then eventually those numbers add up to 7, and I can say, see, I this is my formula. It always adds up to 7. Would you have reason to believe me? Would you think I'm doing that correctly?
Well, that all depends.
No, I told you I just made it up. You should not think that I'm doing anything correctly. I just made that up. So if you look at the text and you say, well, now if I take this little piece here and this little piece here, I can come to this conclusion. There's no reason any of us should believe you unless you can demonstrate why we should believe you, even if it's internally consistent.
It seems to be like when we are wanting to understand what Jesus and the New Testament is saying, we also look at what the text says and assess what it's saying plainly. So, for example, Peter's name is mentioned more times than anyone else in the Gospels. And we read the Acts of the Apostles. After Jesus leaves, Peter takes up a leadership position in the church. It seems to be that all Jesus is saying in Matthew is that Peter was going to be a cornerstone upon which his community was built. Not that the community would be symbolically represented by him. There's nothing in the text that even indicates that. So we have no reason to take this hermeneutic you're trying to create.
Well, could I give you another example? Then maybe you'll see where I'm coming from with this. There's another part in the Bible. Well, before I continue, even though I explained to you that I believe that Peter could represent the church, Jesus himself is in the same way, in that formulaic manner, is the representation of the Word of God. And so the interactions between Jesus and Peter is the interactions between the church and the Word of God. So there's other part in the Bible where Jesus, well, I'm telling you that it makes sense if you see it from this perspective. There's another part of the Bible where Jesus and his disciples are on the way to Jerusalem, and Jesus goes on to tell his disciples that he'll eventually be persecuted by the church elders and the teachers of the law, and etc. And so Peter says something like, "Lord, this will not happen to you." And then that's when you get one of Jesus' strongest rebukes against anyone in the New Testament, where he says, "Get behind me, Satan, for you savor the things of man rather than the things of God," or something like that. So if you see that perspective that I've been trying to get you to work on,
where in this,
and how it's going to.
No, Kevin, where in the story did we get to the conclusion that Jesus, just like how Peter is a representation of the church, that Jesus is a representation of the Bible? Where are we getting that in the story? That's not even remotely hinted at in the story.
Well, see, that's the interesting thing to me, because that's something that's always been said amongst the church, and it's never been really explained. It's, even though, like I just said, it's been said amongst the church, people just come to accept it without explaining it.
What is said among the church?
Is the explanation of it, that Jesus is the Word of God, and by extension, the representation
I think you might be confused.
Of the scriptures that we're reading.
I think you might be confused, Kevin. I think what the confusion here is that in the Gospel of John, Jesus is called the Word. That's not a reference to the Bible. That's a reference to something within Jewish angelology in the first century. It has nothing to do with the fact that the Bible happens to also be called the Word.
It's referred to Jewish what?
When the Bible refers to Jesus as being the Word, and how the Word was with God and the Word was divine and the Word became flesh, it says the word here doesn't have anything to do with the Bible. It's a reference to what's called the Logos, which is an angel in Jewish mythology, that's mentioned in works like Philo of Alexandria. It has nothing to do with the fact that the Bible's called the Word. It's like you're seeing two different instances of the word being used, and you're conflating them together.
I don't understand what you just said, because you just gave me the explanation on why Jesus was called the Word of God, but you're just telling me that you don't accept it, that it just means something else.
It's a different reference. Like, for example, if I use the word Mustang to refer to a horse, I can also use the word Mustang to refer to a car, and the car isn't the same thing as the horse. They also use the word word to describe Jesus. They also use the word to describe the Bible, but those are different references. They're not meant to, one's not the other.
Well,
Kevin, you might really enjoy taking some, maybe some classes in New Testament and Old Testament. There's a lot of, you could learn to read it in the original languages. You could learn about ancient Near Eastern culture. And it would give you maybe some deeper context for some of these things. So you could have an understanding of what scholars and academics and theologians think that some of these things mean.
Oh yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying and everything, because my research on all of this, if somebody were to try to apprehend the understanding of all this, we got to step outside of our Western view of Christianity, I want to say.
Yeah. So maybe before you come to these conclusions about what all this stuff like really means, take some time to maybe learn from some other people, take some courses, read some academic books, and you might find that to be really interesting.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Well, it was a really interesting call, and thank you guys.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Well, we appreciate you calling in.
Absolutely. Have a good one, y'all.
You too.
You too. I am being informed that I was incorrect on one position, not that Jesus is the word, but that the bird is the word. So thank you for everyone correcting me on that.
We do have time for one more caller if anyone else is kind of thinking about calling in and wants to talk about the Bible. Just as a reminder, our number to call in is 720-619-2288. And also, again, a reminder that we will be reading all of the super chats that are $5 or more. Yeah, I was trying to think of a metaphor for him that would make sense to why we were not following his logic, but I couldn't think of a concise one. But I don't think he was following the fact that just because you've made up a connection doesn't mean that it's real.
I was gonna say maybe you should have just made up a metaphor and then and vaguely gestured that there's a connection there.
Right. I mean, that's what I was trying to do with like Paul and the sevens, and I don't think it went well.
Well, we tried. You know what's really crazy, Sarah? 4 times this week, just this week, I've had Christians call in. So I usually have like 3 points on the board. The last one is that Jesus is dead. And I have Christians saying, yeah, as Christians, we do say that Jesus is dead. I'm like, no, that's heretical. You say Jesus was dead and then he resurrected and now he's alive. And they go, but he's in heaven, so he's dead. I've had to explain to 4 Christians this week basic theology from the Bible.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, there are so many complicated things about Jesus rising as a human being, becoming alive again, but then going up to heaven. Like, there's no good reason why he had to go up to heaven, like why he couldn't have stayed as a human being on earth. And it's also very complicated in that, does he retain his like corporeal form? Is he still a human? Or does he somehow return to just being a spirit? And then if he's just a spirit, does he kind of merge back with God the Father again? Do we get
I love
like, does he
that.
have a superhuman body up there? It's very
I,
difficult.
I also had to explain to a Christian today that the word, a Catholic, in fact, that the word Messiah and Christ meant the same thing. Because they said that, yes, Jesus is the Christ, but he's not the Messiah.
What does that even mean?
Yeah. I really broke it down for him. So I said to him, listen, those are the exact same words. So I went to Isaiah 45, where it calls Cyrus God's anointed. In Hebrew,
Okay.
Mashiach, which is Messiah. And I said, but look, if I go to the Septuagint, the Greek text, it says that Cyrus is God's Christo, Christ. Christ and Messiah is the same word. He goes, but where does it say that?
What?
Eventually I just had to hang up after a while because, like, if you go to a theme park, they say you have to be this tall to ride this ride. Well, you have to be a certain, like, IQ level to come on the Bible Guy show. And this guy just did not have the boots for the hike.
The boots for the hike.
Someone said Catholics famously don't know S about F. Listen, I was a Catholic that knew S about F. I think that might be why I'm an ex-Catholic, though. So, maybe that might be the problem.
It is interesting as someone who was only ever a Protestant. I do think Catholicism has a very nice solution for a very common Protestant problem. As Protestants, we believe that every human being reads the Bible, and like your pastor helps you kind of learn it, but you don't actually need your pastor. It's like the Bible is God talking directly to you. And
Yeah.
as everyone can see, of course, the problem is that two different people read the same passage and come to different conclusions. And that, of course, is a giant problem in Protestantism. And so I do appreciate the solution that Catholicism has, where they're saying, actually, no, you don't get to determine what it means. We tell you what it means. You listen to our interpretation. That's
Yeah.
that's for us to tell you. We have the authority, you don't.
When
Um,
I was Christian, that was one of the big driving forces behind me becoming Catholic, was the
mm,
fact that there is, as they like to say, one holy Catholic and apostolic church.
mhm.
So there is only one Catholic church. It doesn't matter if you go to a Latin Catholic church or a Byzantine Catholic church or Oriental Catholic church. They all believe in the same dogmas. They just express the rites and rituals differently.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate the simplicity of that. It does solve this big problem that we have in Protestantism. So that's nice. It creates its own problems then, but it does at least solve one.
Until someone said, until you read the history of the church, yeah, and then you
Yeah.
get your problems.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
just the
Hence
history. I
the
mean, modern problems with the church, with the shooing around all the pedophilic priests and whatnot. Yeah,
yeah.
a really big problem. I'm very glad I no longer have to defend all that nonsense. Also, the fact that it was very ancient, very old, and there's like lots of theology and lots of academia and Catholicism. All of that was very enticing for me.
Oh, I
Uh,
bet. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
And
Until
I
I
think
realized Jesus did fulfill prophecy, in which case it just kind of went all out the window.
I see that too, like for people who become, I don't know, maybe like my parents, we grew up in a Presbyterian evangelical church, and now my parents are Anglican. And I think they like the more high church, like headiness of it. It feels
Yeah.
more official and formal, and there is more intellectual discourse. So I do think that can be a pretty common jump for people who grew up in evangelical churches to move to a church that feels more intellectual.
It also, there's like, yeah, the ceremony. I think one of the things I very much enjoyed when I was Catholic was that not only the ceremony, I felt like I was participating in something that thousands of years of Christians were also participating. Like, I could go
Hmm.
to a Latin mass, and it was the same mass that Saint Francis of Assisi would have participated in. So I felt like I was part of a greater ecclesial community.
That is
And also,
cool.
yeah, I mean, humans are very drawn to ritual and ceremony. We do it all the time in our day-to-day lives, which is probably one of the reasons why a lot of people find those high church settings a lot more attractive than just like your I'm at a concert that's also happens to be a sermon.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we've done some last call here for any additional callers. We actually got a $20 super chat that says, "Come on, I'm just starting to have fun. Last call." But if we don't get one in a minute, we will be reading our super chats. So just a reminder, our number is 720-619-2288. And thank you guys so much, by the way, for all the super chats. And we're going to be reading those soon. And yeah, we appreciate you guys hanging out and listening to our conversations.
I guess I gotta find more embarrassing pictures of myself to get them super chatting in the future.
Clearly.
You guys let me know. I'll find something. I'm an embarrassing person, so it won't be that difficult.
Oh man, I was trying to think if I have anything, but like, I don't know. I don't have any really embarrassing pictures, I don't think. I'll have to think about it. I mean, I'm sure they exist. I'm just not thinking about it.
I probably have embarrassing posts, me posting stuff about the Shroud of Turin and how awesome it is. I know I have a really old video of me on VR sculpting what I thought would be like a replica, like a 3-dimensional replica based on the Shroud of Turin. I have one of those on my Facebook.
What?
Yeah, actually, I have a sculpture in my closet right now. It's now smushed up and stuff like that, but I have like a sculpture that I actually sculpted in real life of a bust of Jesus that was based on the Shroud of Turin.
Oh my God. That's wow is all I have to say about that.
How far we have come.
Well, let me wait, let me scooch this up. Just kind of a shout out to the schedule for the rest of the week. So if you enjoyed this show, I'm sure you will enjoy the other shows that are here on the line. We have the Sunday show tomorrow at, okay. All the times I'm going to tell you are Central. Yes, Central time, at 1 p.m. Then I think there's a second Sunday show, and maybe a third Sunday show with Jimmy Snow and the line. And then on Monday there is Skep Talk with Forrest and allegedly Ian. On Tuesday is Chewed Gum, and then Wednesday is the Hang Up, and Thursday is Tassus, and then Friday is 'Cause I Wanna. So we have shows every single day, an awesome amount of content for you all to check out this week. Okay, sorry if I said any of that wrong. I read that fast in my brain. Okay.
Just be clear for everyone. Albeit Ashlyn commented just now, Dalton once subscribed Trump and Elon accounts on Facebook too. Just so we're clear, I gave Ashlyn access to my Facebook for reasons, and then she, on just a prank, she went on there and subscribed to all the right content, just so my feed would get absolutely ruined. And I'm still recovering from it.
Alrighty. Well, I think it is time for us to read some super chats. I hope you guys are pumped. We are pumped. Oh wait, let me make this thing bigger so I can read it that way.
You can also see it at the top of your chat window in the staff tool.
Perfect. Yeah, I want to make sure I was reading the same one that shows up on here. Our first super chat is Joshua. Thank you so much, Joshua. Says, happy Saturday to two of my favorite people to listen to on religious topics. I read a post saying, I'm afraid of going to hell because I got the jab. Oh, jeez.
Gee whiz. I want to know about that theology. That's crazy. And at albeit Ashland with the $5, if two Calvinists pray for opposite outcomes, who already lost?
Well, one of them, I guess.
Oh, but Ash.
Flibberty giblets with 49.9. Oh, I'm too close to my mic. I feel like that's loud. 49.99. Pay up, Dalton. That was
Well,
to see your picture.
You got what you wanted, Flibberty Giblets. I hope you enjoyed the view.
Amazing.
And at Sad Tech Geek with the 5 Canuck bucks, my contribution toward Dalton's Altar Boy picks. Come on, people. You know you want them to. Hashtag rock hard for Doug. Well, there you go. You all got it. And I hope you enjoyed yourself. Hope you screenshotted that stuff.
Joshua again with $10 pitching in. Does Sara have any cringe Christian tales for us too? Oh man. I mean, I have done multiple international mission trips, so I suppose I definitely do, which I have now very conflicting feelings about.
At C Gray with the $5 pitching in for the cause. Chat should see Dalton the altar man boy or boy man. The official term was altar server. But yeah. There you go. Enjoy.
It was so beautiful. Contra Deity with $5 says, I think you should raffle off a cardboard cutout of you as an altar guy. You definitely
Contra Deity, if you really want one that bad, just let me know.
It's coming in the mail.
Yeah. And at Charlie Carrot with the $5, how's your eyesight doing? All right, let's find out. Still very much shit. Thank you very much. Thank you for nothing, God.
Oh, I realized that I wasn't super clear, because obviously the first super chat is at the top of the list, but whenever I click a new one, it sends that new one to the very top of the list, and it says on banner. So if it's like super tiny and hard to read in the Zoom, then it's in your web tool as well. Sorry, just wanted to clarify.
Okay. No
You're all good.
Misha with 10 Australian dollars. Alterman Vampire Out Here Biting People show starring Dalton when, haha, love this combo. Keep rocking, friends. Yeah, you offered to bite people.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's just me.
Oh, God, that took me out.
And at Misha again with the 10 Australian dollars. Good eye, mate. You guys just aren't following the genius logic from Kevin. The Bible is fulfilling the word of God by being wrong. Duh. Theists out here playing 3D chess with a badminton racket. Yeah, I totally missed it. Yeah, obviously the Bible is true because the Bible is wrong. That makes total sense. Love that.
That's how it works. Narcissa? I don't want to say that wrong. Yeah. With $20 says, last call. Come on, I'm just starting to have fun. Indeed. Thank you for the super chat.
And at Chip Payet, who is paying it forward with the $9.99, just sending appreciation to both of y'all. Well, Chip, much appreciated.
Yay, Chip.
Love you, bud.
All right, that takes us to the end of our show. I make sure I remind you of things before I don't want to forget something I am supposed to remind you all of. I read you all the schedule. There are things every day. I do want to thank Lux for being our producer. Thank you so much. And were you producer and screener?
We had Dragon screening today.
Dragon, thank you so much for screening. I deeply appreciate it. Thank you so much. And for making all of this possible. If you are interested, please do also find The Line has a Patreon. And on that Patreon, there are, I think, by every other week or weekly shows where we come in and talk about our own areas of expertise. And so you get some new cool information on the Patreon. So that's another way to get some additional cool content. And there's merch. So if you're interested in merch, always please purchase the merch. Okay, am I forgetting anything before I send us out?
Feels well-rounded to me.
Okay.
Works for me.
All right.
Amen.
Well, thank you very much again for hanging out with us and watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.